Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with a new series, and this series is all about sort of walking the path of a shaman. So in this series, what I want to do is I'm going to explain to you and show you and demonstrate to you a few of my own personal spiritual practices and ways in which I practice my personal worship to God, to the universe, to life. And it's very, very important for me because understanding this aspect of life is understanding life at a deeper level. So what do I mean? In any moment of life, I've come to find that you are never alone. I am never alone. God is always with us, you know. Our ancestors are always with us. And if you ever want to feel this or experience this for yourself, all you must do is close your eyes and start speaking. And then listen to your emotions, listen to your feelings. You know, open yourself to the imagery or the visualizations that you have. So, for example, I use this practice a lot within my own life to really understand my own purpose and meaning in life, because that's one thing I've come to realize is that our purpose and our meaning in life is our understanding and acceptance of life and God. So when we understand, you know, our connection to life, our connection to God, our connection to others, we're able to, you know, explore who am I in this life? Who are others in this life? What is my role, you know, within myself and within others? And, you know, for me personally, my life, or at least my path in life, is to be a shaman. So what is a shaman? A shaman is just someone who has developed themselves to have a personal connection with God, to be able to speak and communicate to God and listen to God for their wisdom, for their instruction. So I'll tell you a bit of a story that happened to me a couple of weeks ago that really set me on this trajectory. And it always, a thing to understand is that we usually only ever speak to God when life is going against us, when life is going, you know, is sort of crushing us down and the weight's crushing us down. And it's very, very important for me personally, because when life goes against me and when everything crushes me down, when things happen that sort of destroy my sense of belonging in society, it always pushes me closer to God. And the reason for this is that in everything, like, I am always connected to God. So, you know, a few weeks back, I personally hit the wall where I cannot abide by society. I cannot abide by the weakness in society. I cannot abide by the illusions of society. And that's a funny thing. 99% of people living on this earth are living an illusion that, you know, society is life. That living to be 101 and not experiencing life is life. That not going after what you want in life is life. And to me, it's just waiting to die. When I think about being in society and working a job for the next 40 years just so that I can retire and buy a house and fucking buy all this bullshit material shit, like, all we're doing is waiting to die. Waiting to sort of use up our life, making excuses to ourselves about why we can't do, have and be what we want in life. My whole life I've spoken to God. God's always spoken to me in every negative situation that I've ever been in every situation where my life was threatened, God always spoke to me, always told me the path to go, always told me how to move, what steps to take. And it's a very important thing, because if I look back on personal experiences that I had, if I had have done anything but what was, guided to me, those situations would have ended terribly. Like those situations would have ended in extreme violence, in my life being personally at risk. So it's very important for this, because when I look back on these experiences, there was never fear, because God always told me, and my ancestors always told me, that there is nothing to fear. Like, we will protect you. And that's an important thing, because also in my life there have been many times where I haven't listened to my intuition. And that's a funny thing. God speaks through our intuition, through our gut feelings. Through our gut feelings and our intuition is how we communicate with, the energetic fields, with the spiritual side of life. And it's very important for this, because the more you come to understand this, the more you will come to understand that you have all the tools and all of the information and all of the skills and everything that you want in life is within you right now. You just have to learn how to access it. And the way you access it is by quieting your mind or your ego, okay? That aspect of me that thinks, I know this is what it is. This is how it's meant to be. And what happens is when we quiet that aspect of our mind and we lose our ego, we become open to the energetic shifts and states within our mind and within our body. And it's very important for this, because our mind is always connected on an energetic level through quantum mechanics to everything in life. So through any and every aspect of life, if I wanted to know what the planet Ceres looked like, all I need to do is close my eyes and visualize it and focus on it. If I'm able to do that, I am then able to see. And it's very important, because while this all may sound strange, all of this is something that has been a part of human society for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. We think of the past where our ancestors worshipped the gods, and they worshipped life and they worshipped the universe, and we think of it as being that they did it to try and make themselves feel better. They did it to try and soothe themselves. And it's a funny thing, because growing up, I grew up Catholic, and I hated religion, and I thought it was bullshit, because every Catholic person I saw was a fucking liar. They were weak people, like all of these people who were supposedly meant to be righteous were not righteous in their life. They did not live a righteous life. They were not righteous about who they are. They did not stand by their values. They did not stand by their standards of life. It was false virtue, fake virtue, and that's a big thing. Religion is full of false and fake people who try to justify their worship or their belief in religion as being their belief in God. And there's a big difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality is personal connection to God, and religion is a man-made structure of how to worship to God. So that's an important thing that I've found, is that in reading the Bible, in reading you know, these religious texts, the funny thing is they all say the exact same thing, yet they all think that their God is the only God. The funny thing is that God is not one thing. God is everything. So if a Muslim wants to say Allah is God, Allah is God. If a Christian wants to say Jesus is God, Jesus is God. Allah and Jesus are the same person. Anyone that wants to argue against that is a fucking idiot, because evidently they have not read multiple religious texts, because they all speak about the same things in different formats, in different ways. And that's a funny thing, because a lot of the negativity in life, a lot of the negativity in society is projected by these fake, false, virtuous people who pretend that their religion is the righteous religion, that their behavior is the righteous behavior, and all of this. You think about, if we stay on like Christianity and Catholicism, you think about the 10 Commandments. And it's like, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder. You know what I mean? And it's like, inherently we all know this. Why don't we steal from other people? Because we will be attacked by other people. Why don't we murder people? Because we will be murdered by other people. Like, whatever we put out into the world is what will, you know, constitute our world. So if we live our life in a low vibration, stealing, cheating, manipulating, and all of this, our entire reality will consist of people stealing, manipulating, and cheating us. Because whatever I put out into the world is what I magnetize back to me. And that's an important thing, because this is the difference between spirituality and religion. Religion says, if I worship and go to church and I live by the standards of the religious belief, I am a good person. Spirituality, on the other hand, is if I live my life as a good person and I do right in every action that I do, then I am a good person. Do you sort of get it? So one sees being a good person by following the rules, the other sees being a good person by living the example. And that's an important thing. 1 second, we'll just wait for this wind to go by. There we go. And that's the thing about life, is that in life we should always look to live the example. We should always look to be who we want to be in life. We should always look to uphold the values that we seek in life. And it's very important, because through my experience, 1 sec. Through my experience, I have found that just because you're a good person doesn't mean good things are going to happen. That's not what life is about. Life is about when everything goes against you, when everything's against you, when all of the worst things in life are happening to you. If you're able to be a good person then, that is it. Do you sort of get it? In life we are not tested by what is easy, we are tested by what is difficult and hard. In life, it is not the sunny days that build our strength. It is the storms. It is, 1 sec, we have a storm coming over at the moment. But do you understand? To know love, I must know sorrow. I must know suffering. I must know pain. 1 sec. I might just switch this camera around. But yeah. Alright, that's better. So, to understand this is just to understand that It is not in the good days, it's not when everything's going for you that we should worship God. We worship God when everything is going against us, when life has crushed us down, when life is, taking away every aspect of who we are. Because it is only when we strip ourselves down to nothing do we see who we truly are. And that's an important thing about personal and self-development, is that people think we build upon the fractured foundations. That if I tell myself I'm a good person, I'm a good person, I'm a good person, that I am a good person. No, I have to strip down all of the negative actions I've taken. I have to accept all of the negativity that I am in life. And I have to reject that and say that is not me. And then we build a good person on top of that. But only once we have truly rejected the negativity, the negative aspects of ourselves. And it's important to understand this, because this is the key, is understanding the truth that if I ask God for strength, He will send me challenges. If I ask God for love, He will send me, the illusion of love, so that I may know what true love is. Do you sort of understand? When so like, for example, I'll give you some examples of this in my own life. But it's like, every time I've asked God to help me understand, He puts me in situations where I have no choice but to understand. Do you sort of get it? So if I ask God for peace and serenity in my life, He will give me chaos so that I may find peace and serenity in chaos. Do you sort of understand? If I ask God for love, He will send me not vicious people, but He will send me people to use and manipulate me so that I may find love within myself in the chaos. Do you sort of understand? This is life. Whatever I want is found on the other side of struggle, on the other side of setback, on the other side of what I do not want in life. And that's important, because for many of years in my life, I thought it was the other way around. That if I asked God for peace, He would give me peace. But the truth is that, like the Shaman monks say, if you want to be relaxed, squeeze your hands. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as hard as you can. As hard as you can. And just keep squeezing your hands. And get the pressure and the blood pumping and get it aching, and keep going. And then when we relax, that is the state of relaxation that we seek. Do you sort of understand? When I ask God for inner peace and He puts me in chaos, when I find inner peace within myself, within the chaos, all of that stress and tension goes, and only peace remains. So it's very, very important for me personally to understand this, because it's this perspective shift that allows me to then walk through the chaos with faith, walk through the storm without fear, because I know while in the storm, there is chaos, there is, uncertainty, there is risk. But on the other end of that storm, once I get out of it, all of that goes away. And that's the thing about our personal relationship with God, is that understanding that principle, that when I worship and I build faith in the midst of my own personal storms, that is when I strengthen my relationship to God. It is only when I am on my knees, ready to throw in the towel, ready to give up, that I open myself to listen to the advice, to the information, to the wisdom that my ancestors and God show me. And it's a very, very important thing, because what I've come to realize, and sort of in my own life, is that there are two me's. There is the shaman and the berserker.